Hello again, everyone. Just about done my coffee. I actually meant to do this earlier, but that's okay. I can also put this up in the announcements. There's another area, and it's not necessarily fraud. And some of you, I don't know, I think all of you can understand this. Okay, multi level marketing. I want to talk about that. As a background, some years ago, my daughter's friend was in a situation where she was basically responsible for her own college. Kind of a tough situation. She's doing very well, and she's working in the marketing industry now. It's been some years. She was about what 18, and she got hooked up with a multi-level marketing company. So basically, this is how it works. They attract you with how much, you can make so much money, part time, full time. You'll never, have to worry about not working for yourself. You work with us, and you sell products. It could be knives. Some places it's detergent and household products, or what, vitamins, whatever. It doesn't make a difference. All the products are not superior. They're just plain products. You can go to the supermarket and get most of them, and it's the same thing. They just brand it and make it seem like this stuff is environmentally safe, and this is a good company. We're so generous to society, or whatever. Blah 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 blah. So they get you, and they get you all enticed and attracted. And they'll say, okay, all that's required of you to start off is, number one, is to go to this seminar, and your initial investment is going to be $100 for this seminar. Well, that's how this recruiter makes money. It's not so much about the product, it's about hooking you in, and you getting you to pay for that seminar or whatever. So that's what they want to do. They want to get you to pay for that. That's how they make their money, and it kicks up the chain of command, and the higher you go up, the more you make, or whatever. So one day you could be recruiting, one day you could be a manager overseeing recruiters, so on and so forth. So it's just a multi-level marketing. It's kind of an illusion in many respects, because there's a product there. That's not really the product they're selling. What they're selling is you. So then they'll say, okay, you have training. You have to go through this training. It's going to cost you $500 for training. You're an independent contractor, so put in the $500, and we'll go ahead and get you in the training. So say you do well selling a little bit to your friends and family. Like, I felt so bad for this kid that I actually did buy cutting boards. They're over at the rental. They're just cutting boards, but I was just going to give her some money, to be honest with you. But I decided to let things go from there. Because she, whatever I was going to pay in this cutting boards, I was just going to give her the money, here, rather than go through all that. But then again, she has autonomy, and she figured it out herself. That's important too. So they'll try to get you that way, and all of a sudden you're paying into this, investing in this business, and now you're buying the products to sell the products. So you don't necessarily, they may do it now, but you don't necessarily, there was a time anyway where you would buy the products. So you'd have a bunch of detergent in your house or whatever it is, and you were out to sell it. And typically people who buy it are people that have empathy for you, friends, family, and all that. So that's just kind of what they do. There was one coworker I had, this is years ago, that wanted me to dip in on this. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to do that. Why are you doing that? And she's like, oh, trust me, it's great. And, they have motivational speakers and all that. I'm like, yeah, okay. I mean, I know what they're doing there. They're kind of just dragging you in this whole spiritual, transformative thing. But in reality, it's nothing. So she's paying, and her job now is to recruit other people to basically sign on board. And I told her, no, I'm not doing it. I told a couple people at work, no. And they were pretty, they were struggling. The kids ready to go to college. Some were paying for Catholic school, which isn't cheap. It used to be cheap when I was a teenager. Well, it wasn't bad. Now it's like ridiculous. So I get it, right? They want to earn extra money. State employees don't make a whole lot in contrast to the private sector. So that happened. And one day she was real sneaky about it. So, wondering if you wouldn't mind if I practice my presentation for you and your wife, since you're both in training and staff development or something like that. I'm like, what? Like, yeah, I just want to practice. I'm like, no, you're trying to sneak in the house and sell your stuff. I was just honest with her. So when I moved here to PA, I don't know how this happened, but the students where I work full time, they have my office number, which is a team's number. Somehow, I don't know, they found my actual phone number, my cell. They were out one night. I guess they're at the supermarket, and this company, Multilevel marketing company, and I won't use names, approached all five of them. So apparently they're piled in the car, a soccer team. And they're like, Professor, should we sign up for this? I'm like, no, gentlemen, you don't have any money. You should focus on school and feeding yourself, and you need a part-time job. We can certainly look into that, but you don't need to be getting involved in that. They're just ripping you off. So they kind of go after your age, the traditional college student, young adult with delusions of grandeur that you can make lots of money. So, I mean, there's all kinds of different jobs like that. So be careful. I actually, well, I didn't really fall for it, but I was about 19. And for 3 days, I sold meat over the phone, which is pretty hilarious. And I still remember the name of the company and the sales pitch. So we'll just call it Fred's Foods. I don't want to give up a name or anything like that. So I still remember the pitch. Hi, this is Mike from Fred's Foods. I'm conducting a food survey in your area this evening. And if you would answer just a few brief food questions, you will receive a complimentary meat package. Sir, ma'am, where do you shop? And then either they would answer the questions or yell and hang up, usually yell and hang up. And we weren't really conducting a survey in their area. We just opened up the phone book. There was this thing you guys probably don't know about. It was called the white pages, and everyone's name was in there, and you just call them. So I lasted 3 days. I'm like, this is ridiculous. So what would happen though, if you get a sale, I did get a couple. You'd have a salesperson, very high pressure salesperson come out, and all of a sudden they'd fill up your freezer with these meats, and you're on the hook. And if you didn't have enough space in your freezer, they could sell you an extra freezer. It was just brutal. So, you do 100 calls and you get two. That's big money. Two per caller, I think it was. You needed to get two to stay or they fire you. And I got my quota. I believe I got my quota. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. I think it was a couple I got, though. And, it just goes to show you just how operations work and all that. So people are just trying to sell meat over the phone. That was one of my more interesting experiences as a young adult. And I noticed that the people in the company picnic, all of them that were in the picture weren't there anymore. So I said, yeah, that's a red flag. I could figure that out even at 19. So just be careful whenever someone says, you can make a lot of money. Look, I'm going to be honest with you, and you can be honest with me. If you have a way of making $1 million, are you telling anybody? No, because if you do, guess what? They're going to do what you're doing, and then you won't be making that $1 million anymore. There's a certain thing called silence when you're doing well. I mean, not to say you wouldn't help someone out or coach them, but you're not going to give them something, that would take away from you. I surely wouldn't expect that from you if you had some plan. So things like that. Also, just YouTube, people on TV. I'm sure this is just important to reflect. The guys or ladies that are on YouTube videos, they're pulling up their Lamborghini into a mansion. This is my system. This is how I made my millions and da, 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 da. The only way they're making money is selling you their system. The system is what's making them money. It's not the strategy, the products, it's just their system. And I'm not going to tell you. And you surely wouldn't tell me. If you're well off because of a system, why would you be out there selling it? So again, don't don't fall for that stuff. There is no get rich quick. And even if you got lucky in your entrepreneurial endeavors, what comes around goes around. You're going to have a roller coaster, ebb and flow. So don't think that just because you're successful now, you will be later. All kinds of things can happen in entrepreneurship, and we have to be prepared for that. But I've never heard anyone legitimately getting wealthy off multi-level marketing or these YouTube videos. And the guy with the Lamborghini in the mansion probably rented that. I mean, it's just the way it is, or whatever, So, or maybe they just kind of went on a tour of a house and then I don't know, took a picture, made a background. There's all kinds of things they do. But to be honest with you, it's like someone's going to say, I had this system where you can make $1 million. You're not going to make $1 million off that system. Because if everyone was doing it, then there'd be no value in that system anyway. So that's all I have. Thank you. What's up, Zach?